The marble steps of the courthouse were still wet from the morning rain when the shouting began. "Ma'am, you can't go in there." Two officers grabbed her arms before most people even noticed. Papers slipped from her leather folder, scattering across the stone like startled birds. A few bystanders gasped. Someone lifted a phone to record. The woman didn't scream, she didn't fight, she simply looked at the courthouse doors, tall, polished, imposing, then back at the men dragging her down the steps. Her name was Vanessa Cole. She had arrived early on purpose. First days mattered, appearances mattered, and she had learned long ago that walking into rooms with quiet confidence unsettled people more than loud introductions ever could. But the officers stationed at the entrance that morning didn't know who she was. All they saw was a black woman in a tailored navy suit, asking calm but firm questions when told she wasn't on the list. "We're expecting officials only," Officer Daniels had said, his jaw set tight. "I am an official," Vanessa replied evenly. He had exchanged a look with his partner. Assumptions moved faster than verification. Within seconds, professionalism dissolved into force. Now, as they escorted her away from the doors, the murmur of the gathering crowd thickened. Lawyers in dark suits paused mid-step. A clerk froze, badge swinging against her chest. Vanessa felt the grip tighten on her arm. She inhaled slowly. This wasn't new. The doubt, the scrutiny, the subtle question hanging in the air. Are you supposed to be here? But today was different. Today she wasn't walking in as an attorney. She was walking in as the newly appointed federal judge for the district. She had chosen not to announce it publicly until she stood behind the bench. She wanted to feel the room before the room felt her. Instead, she found herself being pulled away from it. "Ma'am, you're obstructing an official proceeding," Daniels insisted. Vanessa stopped walking. The sudden stillness caught them off guard. She didn't yank her arm free. She simply straightened her posture, smoothing her jacket with her free hand. "Officer," she said quietly, her voice steady as stone, "I suggest you verify your information." Daniels hesitated. Pride nudged him forward. The morning had already been tense. Heightened security, press outside, whispers of a high-profile case about to be assigned to a new judge. He had been warned not to let anyone unauthorized. Inside, he thought he was doing his job. But something about her composure unsettled him. Behind them, the courthouse door swung open. Chief Clerk Martin Alvarez stepped out, scanning the commotion with confusion that quickly turned to alarm. "Oh my God," he breathed. He hurried down the steps, weaving through stunned onlookers. "Release her." Now Daniels blinked. "Sir." "She." That, Alvarez said carefully, "is Judge Vanessa Cole." The words seemed to ripple outward like a shockwave. The officers' grips loosened instantly. Silence swallowed the crowd. Vanessa met Daniel's eyes not with anger, not even with triumph, but with something far heavier, understanding. Daniel stepped back as if burned. His face drained of color. I didn't know," he stammered. Vanessa bent down calmly, gathering her fallen papers. The breeze lifted one page briefly before settling. A few bystanders moved to help her, their expressions apologetic, though they had done nothing. She accepted the papers with a quiet nod. Inside, her heart beat faster than she allowed anyone to see. She had imagined this day for years, the oath, the robe, the first time she would sit behind the bench. She had not imagined being dragged away from it, but as she looked at the officers, at Daniels in particular, she saw more than embarrassment. She saw fear, not of her, of consequence, and here lay the moral crossroads. She could demand immediate suspension, public reprimand, make an example of them before she even took her seat. Many would applaud it, many would say it was deserved, yet she thought of her father who had once told her, "The bench is not a throne, it's a responsibility." Power exercised carelessly was no better than power misused. "Officer Daniels," she said, her voice clear but controlled, "what made you believe I did not belong inside?" He swallowed, words caught in his throat. The honest answer hovered there, uncomfortable and unpolished. "You weren't on the printed list," he managed. "And did you verify beyond that?" He hesitated. "No, ma'am." The crowd shifted, tension thick as humidity before a storm. Vanessa nodded slowly. "Today is my first day. Mistakes happen, but assumptions can damage more than reputations." She let that sentence hang, not sharp but firm. "I expect diligence, not prejudice." From everyone who serves this courthouse, the message was unmistakable. Daniels lowered his gaze. "Yes, Your Honor." The title felt heavy in the air. Vanessa turned toward the courthouse doors once more. This time, no one blocked her path. As she walked inside, the sound of her heels echoed across the marble floor. The courtroom buzzed with whispers as she entered from the side chamber moments later, now wearing her black judicial robe. When she took her seat behind the bench, the room rose. Daniel stood near the wall, posture rigid, replaying the morning in his mind. He had believed he was protecting the integrity of the court. Instead, he had nearly undermined it. Vanessa surveyed the room, lawyers, reporters, citizens seeking justice. Her cheek no longer stung, her pride no longer bristled. What remained was clarity. Court is now in session, she announced. Her voice carried not just authority but earned gravity. In the weeks that followed, she implemented new identification protocols, ensuring no one would be dismissed without proper verification again. She also mandated bias awareness workshops for courthouse security, not as punishment but as preparation. Daniels attended every session, not because he was ordered to, because the weight of that morning had settled deep within him. Years later, he would describe it as the day he truly understood what service meant, and Vanessa would remember it not as humiliation but as her first test of leadership, because true power does not shout when it is wronged, it stands steady, corrects the course, and keeps the doors open for those who come after. Respect is not granted by assumption, it is upheld by action, and sometimes the strongest entrance begins with an unexpected resistance.